Page 33, function notation. So we've talked a little bit about function notation. We had some for bell work, just thrown in there to talk about. But function notation is an equation that replaces y equals, or whatever the answer is, right? Whatever we're solving for, with f of x equals. So it's just an equation, but instead of it equaling a variable, the solution, it's going to say f of x, which stands for the function of x, meaning what does x do? And sometimes, just to make it even more complicated, sometimes they say g of x equals instead of f of x. Or h of x equals instead of f of x. It all just means the same thing. It's asking what is the purpose of, what happens when, what's the function of. And to do function notation, we just do two simple things. With substitute the given value for the given variable. It's going to tell you x equals 7. So that means in your problem, every time you see the variable x, you're going to substitute the value 7. So function notation is just an equation. It's just an algebraic, has variables in it, math problem. That instead of it being equal to a variable, it's equal to the function of x. And sometimes instead of f of x equals, it might say g of x equals, or h of x equals, or... So to solve it, we substitute, we replace the value for the given variable. And then we simplify. Ladies and gentlemen, one very important thing that you must remember. Anytime you substitute, you should use parentheses. Because parentheses can change your problem, right? Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it makes a big difference. So let's talk examples. Maybe it will say g of x equals x squared minus x. Maybe my function notation says g of x equals x squared minus x. And then it says when x equals -2. Now this will be an example. This will be a situation where parentheses matter. So here's my function. Make sure you focus. So we're going to substitute the given value, -2, for the given variable instead of x. So my problem will look like this. The function of -2 equals, and instead of x, I'm going to put -2 squared minus -2. I'm substituting -2 in for each x value. The parentheses are important because if you did not put parentheses and you did -2 without parentheses squared, you'd get -4. But since you're doing -2 in parentheses squared, it's +4. You have to substitute using parentheses. So what is the function of negative 2? Carly, what is it? 6. Negative 2 in parentheses squared means negative 2 times negative 2, which is positive 4, minus negative 2, so plus 2 is 6. Meaning the function of negative 2 results in a solution of 6. If I was going to graph this, my x value would be negative 2, and my y value, my answer, would be 6. It may give you a function that looks like this. 1/2 x minus 3 when x equals 12 and x equals negative 8. It may ask you to do something twice. That's okay. All that means is I have to substitute 2 different times. Instead of x, I'm going to substitute the number 12. So I'm going to have the function of 12 equals 1/2 times 12 minus 3. And then I'll also have the function of negative 8 equals 1/2 times negative 8 minus 3. So the function of 12 is what? Half of 12 is 6, minus 3 is 3. And the function of negative 8 is half of negative 8 is negative 4, minus 3 is negative 7. If I was going to write it as an ordered pair, I'd do 12, comma, 3 and negative 8, comma, negative 7. Function notation. Asking, if I substitute this, what do I get?